Hi, it's Timo, and today's video is about a simple weapon. The Molotov cocktail, a symbol of resistance, emerged during World War II. Under-equipped forces used it to combat superior armies. Despite its simplicity, it was effective against tanks and infantry. It showcased the resourcefulness of those fighting overwhelming odds.
Before World War II, incendiary devices were not new. The Greeks used Greek fire to burn enemy ships. Handheld incendiary weapons gained momentum in the early 20th century. The Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1939, saw the precursor to the Molotov cocktail. Republican forces used makeshift incendiary weapons against Franco's tanks. These early Molotov cocktails were crude but effective.
The Spanish Civil War tested tactics and technologies for World War II.
The Molotov cocktail earned its name during the Winter War from 1939 to 1940 between the Soviet Union and Finland. The conflict began when the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin invaded Finland. The Finnish forces, vastly outnumbered, relied on guerrilla tactics to repel the Soviet onslaught.
At the heart of this resistance was the Molotov cocktail. The device consisted of a glass bottle filled with flammable liquids with a rag fuse. When thrown, it would shatter and ignite, creating a fiery explosion.
The name Molotov cocktail was a darkly humorous response to Soviet propaganda. Vyacheslav Molotov claimed Soviet bombings were delivering food baskets to Finland. The Finns mockingly called the bombs Molotov's bread baskets. The incendiary weapons were thus named Molotov cocktails, a symbolic drink to go with the bread baskets.
The weapon's effectiveness in the Winter War was astonishing. Soviet tanks were vulnerable to the well-aimed Molotov cocktail. Finnish soldiers targeted the air intakes or fuel tanks of Soviet vehicles, causing devastating fires. Despite their numerical advantage, the Soviets suffered heavy losses, and the Molotov cocktail played a key role in the Finns' resistance.
The Molotov cocktail quickly spread beyond Finland, becoming a weapon of choice for resistance movements and guerrilla fighters across Europe and Asia. Its effectiveness against armored vehicles and ease of production made it invaluable for under-equipped forces. The weapon used against Soviet forces in Finland was later adopted by Soviet partisans fighting the German invasion. When Nazi Germany launched Operation Barbarossa in 1941, the Soviet Union struggled for survival. Soviet partisans relied on Molotov cocktails to sabotage German supply lines and disrupt operations.
In occupied Eastern Europe, resistance movements like the Polish Home Army and Yugoslav partisans used Molotov cocktails effectively. These groups operated with limited resources, but made up for it with creativity and determination. The Molotov cocktail became a symbol of defiance, allowing ordinary people to resist an unstoppable enemy.
During the Battle of Stalingrad, Molotov cocktails were used effectively in urban combat. From 1942 to 1943, Soviet defenders repelled the German advance. Molotovs were effective in Stalingrad's close-quarters combat, targeting tanks and armored vehicles.
In the Pacific Theater, guerrilla fighters used Molotov cocktails against Japanese forces. They relied on homemade incendiary devices, attacking Japanese tanks, vehicles, and installations.
After World War II, the Molotov cocktail became a symbol of defiance for resistance movements and protesters worldwide. Its simplicity and accessibility made it a potent tool against oppressive regimes.
During decolonization wars, nationalist movements used Molotov cocktails against colonial powers.
In the latter half of the 20th century, it became a fixture in urban protests and riots. From the 1960s to today, it has been used in protests, sparking debates about its ethical implications.
The Molotov cocktail's simplicity and effectiveness have made it a controversial weapon. Used in resistance and liberation, it's also seen in terrorism and criminal violence. The legality varies by country, with many classifying them as illegal.
The ethical debate centers on their indiscriminate nature and collateral damage.
The Molotov cocktail's iconic status is reinforced by its portrayal in popular culture. From films and video games to art, it symbolizes rebellion and resistance.
In war films, Molotov cocktails are tools of last resort. Movies depicting the Winter War and World War II often include scenes of fighters hurling Molotov cocktails.
In video games, Molotov cocktails are common weapons. Games like Call of Duty and Far Cry feature Molotov cocktails as craftable weapons.
The Molotov cocktail is a powerful symbol in political art and protests. Images of masked demonstrators wielding Molotov cocktails represent resistance against authority.
The Molotov cocktail stands as a testament to human ingenuity and resilience in the face of adversity. Born out of necessity during the Spanish Civil War and perfected by Finnish forces in the Winter War, this simple yet devastating weapon became a defining feature of World War II and countless conflicts that followed. Its enduring legacy as a symbol of resistance reflects both its practical effectiveness and its deep cultural significance.
While the Molotov cocktail remains a controversial weapon, its historical role cannot be ignored. It is a reminder that even in the most desperate of circumstances, innovation and determination can level the playing field against seemingly insurmountable odds. Whether seen as a tool of liberation or a symbol of violence, the Molotov cocktail's place in history is undeniably significant, embodying the spirit of those who fought for freedom with whatever means they had at their disposal. Hit that like button and subscribe. Hear from me soon.